Hi, we're here today with Mr. Peter Lewis, acclaimed Dunedin artist. Hi, Pete.
Hey, how are you?
Cool. What's this exhibition all about? What's it called?
It's called Oculus Internis.
Curious. That's a cool name. What does that mean?
It's the internal eye, like your mind's eye, if you will. To me, I think of your external eyes as just cameras that record what comes in, but it's your internal eye, the mind's eye that has an emotional response to what it sees. And that's what every artist looks for, is an emotional response from the viewer.
Oh, yeah. To get the viewer to go, wow.
Exactly.
There's a lot of wows here, mate. Let's have a look at this.
Sure.
So what got you into creating this collage art? Because this is amazing work.
When I was like 19, I bought some records by a band called the Dead Kennedys, and they had a lot of collages, montages, newspaper bits and pieces glued together in their books and the booklets that came with the records. So I got into it through that, and through an artist, Winston Smith, who did a lot of work with that band.
19? That would have only been a couple of years ago. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, days ago, really.
This has probably taken you decades of creating your art and your skill set that you've got with this.
Definitely, yeah. It's sort of changed over time. My early work was pretty crude and a bit druggy, but now it's got more refined and skilled over time, and I'm capable of leaving some blank space now. Once upon a time, I'd put everything and the kitchen sink into every single collage.
Cool. Wraith, if I pronounce that properly.
Something like that. My Welsh pronunciation isn't great either, but yeah, Haraith or Haraith or something like that. It means like a sad homesickness kind of thing. That's how I feel about Wales now.
So all this imagery is... Oh yes, you did a trip to Wales.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And these collages are created as my response to that, kind of, inspired by my adventures that I had in Wales.
So these are amazing collages on top of real life photographs from the place
that's
you
right.
visit.
Photographs I took in Wales. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow, I can actually see all these kind of in my mind's eye as real life. This is excellent work, Pete. What was your inspiration to do this one on Wales?
Well, it's the place where my ancestors come from, and I'd grown up hearing about it from my grandparents and seen pictures of castles and things like that, and it was a kind of exciting to go to this place where there was history of my family there. There's a lot of history in general. You almost felt like you could dig in the earth and find an old sword or some Roman coins or dragon scales or something like that. It was kind of a mystical, magical place.
Wow, and an excellent series you've created.
Thank you.
This next series here seems to have an out of space or a sci-fi feel.
Definitely, yeah. Sci-fi and kids' books is my that's my favorite imagery to use for collages. It's the stuff I grew up on, and it brings me joy even now.
It's quite cool with even I remember some of these childhood books. Wow. Do you ever get famous people buying a picture or a collection of them?
Not as far as I know. Not famous people. A few musicians from here and there. People that have been influential on me. That's been exciting to meet a few people like that and give them bits and pieces of my work.
Other artists
mostly. There are. Yeah, I wouldn't say that there was a famous person. There was somebody who owns a famous painting that bought one of mine. There are some people in Wellington that own an original Colin McCartney. I don't know what that's worth, but it's worth a lot more than mine.
What does your eyesight kind of work? Because this work must be fiddly as. Are you going through glasses all the time?
Well, I don't know if it's making my vision any worse, but it certainly is getting worse by itself. I found I take my glasses off entirely now when I'm cutting stuff out.
And as a rough round figure, how long does it take to kind of try and do a piece of work?
It's hard to say. It's been a lot of years since I actually, did a whole collage from start to finish. Maybe 5 to 10 hours. It's really hard to say.
What do you want to achieve in the long run? Where do you think this is going? Is it going to keep on remaining, or are you going to go into paintbrush, or is it?
I don't know. I do.
Your driver?
Collage is my thing, and even when I create music, it's still collage-like. It's still pretty simple music with lots of bits and pieces and fun and amusing things layered over the top. So yeah, it's definitely the same approach, whichever way I do it. And I go back and forth between visual and musical art, as it suits me.
This is in a way like music on paper, because it's layered imagery instead of layered sounds.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. That's exactly.
Has your collage work ever taken you to strange or new or unexpected places, either figuratively or literally?
Both, actually. Figuratively, it took me to a dark place once. There's a piece I made called Waiting for Diagnosis, which is probably the only piece I've ever done that isn't light and joyful or cynical. It's about literally waiting for diagnosis. It's got all sorts of death and disease related imagery. It's completely different from anything I've ever done, and it still makes me uncomfortable to look at it now. But it's good, I put something of myself more into that piece more than any others, and that's a good thing. Literally, it's taken me to America for an exhibition, and Japan to deliver a commission and that was funded by art as well. The plane ticket was paid for by a mural that I painted here in Dunedin.
Wow, this wall here, this section is amazing. Even the way you've laid it out on the wall. There's a story behind this, especially all these round ones.
Just a plan. I had to do some round ones, really, something round and brightly coloured, something a bit different from what I usually do.
And the heads on either side, one of the lady and one of the man, they kind of look like they're looking into your work in the middle.
Yeah, these are called stream of consciousness. So it's meant to be, all the shit that's going on in anyone's head at any time. That's what all that pile of miscellaneous thoughts flowing out of their head, that's what it represents.
I love all these round ones together. They make basically a picture all of their own, even though they're all four separate pictures.
True.
I just love this last wall. That's incredible. Where do the ideas come from? Sex, drugs and rock and roll, or you've been looking at someone else's
Yeah,
work?
pretty much. No, I don't know. I just plucked them out of the air like some sort of thing that you can pluck out of the air. I don't really know.
Let's go and find this air place, because you've come up with some amazing creative work. Do all your thought processes overlap at the same time? Do you just come back and forwards to them, or are you using external influences to help you create or merge more? Or
no, I sort of come back to them. There'll be once an idea has sparked for a piece, I'm usually pretty good to leave it for a while and come back and put things together later on. Sometimes it evolves over time.
It's all these layers of images and astronauts and eyes and people. They all look old, like 50s and 60s. Where does most of this material come from? Old magazines? Old
books, usually old children's books and encyclopedias. I like using the things that are old. I like the old imagery. I like the idea of recycling it. I also like stuff that reminds me of my childhood. So the books I saw then were, probably from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, that's why you'd like talking to me, old and recycled.
Old and recycled, that's right, exactly.
Excellent work, Pete. Excellent work. And thank you so much for your time and explaining all this. I wish you all the very best in the future, but I can see you're just going to grow anyhow.
Yeah, my next, I have an ambition to release a coffee table book of my art someday, so I will. That might be the next thing I work on.
What about a coffee table with your art painted on it?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you.